A very good day to Dr. Hasbullah and my fellow classmates. So today our group will present our report that is Halal Warehouse. So our member includes me, myself, Wong, and Christine, Natesh, Waisan, and Mugilan. So we will proceed to the table of content. First of all, we will cover introduction. Secondly is requirements in Halal Warehouse, and then standards, regulation, and procedures in Halal Warehouse. And the fourth is literatures, and fifth, recommendation, and the last is conclusion. So for the introduction of Halal Warehouse, Halal warehousing plays a crucial role in halal supply chain service to ensure the integrity of halal products throughout their journey from origin to consumption. So the providers who adhere to necessary standards that is certified by JAKIM or its affiliates is very important. So the term halal refers to the product and foods permissible and in accordance with Islamic law. By emphasizing cleanliness and hygiene, halal certification for warehouse follows the Malaysian standard MS 2400 2010. Is the Malaysian halal standard for Halayan Thayyiban Assurance Pipeline HTAP covering transportation, warehousing and retail. So what is halal warehouse? According to the Holy Quran, the term halal encompasses cleanliness and hygiene in food handling because cleanliness is important for religion and halal only permits hygiene, safe and halal foods or product for Muslim consumption. So I will pass on to Christine for requirements needed in halal warehouse. Thank you.
Thank you, Wong. I will be explaining about the requirements. The requirements to open a warehouse that all the products and procedure requires to handle lawful in that follow Sharia and Fatwa. So basically, all these rules are set by Allah. So in a halal warehouse, the products and procedure are required to follow the rules that set by Allah, which states all the prohibitions and terms that are need to be obeyed. And common examples will be like alcohols. So alcohols that contains ethanol, like liquors or wine that fermented from types of fruits like grapes, dates, grains, and others, obeying laws stated from Al-Hawid and Fiqh, also types of law that they need to require to follow. So it is required to have a halal certification also and labeling in the products or warehouses too. So for example, Malaysia has the products like Milo with a halal logo on its packaging that assumes that the products are carried or stored or produced in a halal way. So in Malaysia, the Department of Islamic Development, Malaysia, JAKIM, is known as one of the authoritative body of halal assurance, that they are in charge of assuring the halal certification in Malaysia as the aim of keeping the product safe from non-halal materials. So besides, halal facility segregation also is one part of the halal warehouse, where the non-halal products are kept away from the halal products, where it has a strict law like halal segregation policy, where warehouses use in halal zones like cotton boxes, racks, pallets, and shelves for their own products only. So halal warehouse requires a lot of efforts to maintain in its process, like receiving, storing, put away, cross-docking, shipping, and order packing, including packing. So follow with the transportation in warehouses that helps to ship out halal products. The performance needed to be monitored. For example, like the risk of cross-contamination between halal and non-halal products during transportation need to take precautions. So the containers that users to carry from non-halal products cannot be used to carry like halal products based on the Sharia law. So by assuring the operation within the halal warehouse operate well, it is important to have trained and educated employees, like the managers in the warehouse plays an important role, as they need to be cautious about the changes happening in the operation, like incoming process, maybe the types of materials, packaging, equipments that affect the halal integrity speedily. So the product being handled. So managers also need to know that the control measures, like they mix around, do they mix around halal or non-halal products, and then they have to like uses the corrective action taken to handle them. And according to the halal risk management plan, the risk ranking and severity shall be well controlled by the managers too. So that will be my part. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Miguel. Let me take over from here. Okay, right now let's talk about standards. Standards. Warehouse providers are not willing to apply for halal certificate due to a lack of knowledge. So the government should encourage the risk providing the encourages what is warehouse and what are the warehouses halal provides to the staffs and the members who is working inside the Malaysian halal warehouse.
Hi, Sir Hasbullah. My name is Chong-Wisan. Today I'm going to present about the regulation and procedure in setting up a halal warehouse. Nowadays, due to the demand of halal product has increased, they have come to a new service which is known as halal warehouse. Halal warehouse is a service which is a warehouse which provides service of halal logistics. And in order to create a halal warehouse, they have a more strict rules and regulation compared to create a normal warehouse. First and foremost, to create a halal warehouse, the warehouse need to have a specific space and transportation for the products. And also, every halal warehouse, they need to have a halal certification, which is given by the JAKIM. First and foremost is the halal storage and transportation. This means that the goods which are going to sell to the consumer needs to be stored under a specific store, which store only contain of products which are halal, which have halal certification and also halal logo on the packaging. Next is about halal logistic, which means that, for example, the truck which are going to deliver the goods, they can only deliver those products which have halal logo and halal certification. And next is about the halal certification. This halal certificate will give by the JAKIM, and which I will explain further in the procedure. And this is to protect the Muslim population consumer from using illegal products. So the ways of getting the halal certificate are very difficult. We need to go through many processes so that the companies is recognized by JAKIM that they are halal. And next, I will proceed with the procedure. Procedure for setting up a halal warehouse. We need to do many steps in order to get the license to have a halal warehouse. And and first and foremost, the company has to register their products, where all material used to produce the product are halal, like material like alcohol, blood, dead meat, and others are haram product which cannot be used to produce the product. So this material, if they found that this material are in the product, so they will not get the halal certification, and this product cannot appear inside the halal warehouse or a halal factory. If the warehouse is found that they have misused this material and contain these products, the factory or warehouse will be fined, or sometimes they will be closed down for further investigation. So even that they have already got the certificate, but someone found that the warehouse have this kind of product like blood, alcohol, so that the company will be closed down or will be fined. So how can a company get to be a halal warehouse? They need to go through many processes. And firstly, the JAKIM will check on the system of goods received in the warehouse and ways of storing the goods in the warehouse. Then they will also check on the way of labeling to avoid commingling, mislabeling, and contamination. Last but not least, they will also check on the documentation of the purchaser to make sure that all goods received have the verification of halal certificate. Like these are the process, flowchart of halal certification process. First is application for halal supervision and certification. Next is pre-screening of product and its raw material or ingredient, and followed by setting up halal assurance system. Next is halal manual and standard halal operating system established. And next is internal audit and evaluation, followed by plant inspection or audit. And next is evaluation, and followed by agreement or contract. And lastly, the halal certificate will be given if all these processes are passed after the audit. Yeah, and that's all from me. And these are the summary of the regulation and procedure in order to set up a halal warehouse. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
So for the 10 literature that related to halal warehouse, so the first literature is barriers and enablers in the adoption of halal warehousing. So this literature concludes that the factors that is including regulatory compliance, certification requirements, halal logistic expertise, awareness of halal requirements, cost, customer demand, and the availability of halal certified products. So the factors that is internal within the organization is including organizational culture, awareness, and resource, as well as external factors like government regulation, customer demands, competition, and so on. So for the second one is contributing factors of halal warehouse adoption. So there are 5 keys of factors in this literature. So the first one is top management support, awareness of halal logistic, government support, customer demand, and cost benefit analysis. So the third is halal food warehouse, that talking about challenges and solution. So this literature addresses the challenges faced by halal food warehouse in Malaysia. So the key factors is cleanliness and hygiene, segregation and identification of halal and non-halal products, proper storage and handling, and the traceability of products and raw materials, and lastly, the compliance with halal certification requirements. So next is the fourth literature is the development of halal logistic warehouse, that is studied at Mas Cargo Sejarah Berhad. So this literature identifies halal requirements and formulate guidelines from survey and analytic hierarchy process AHP. So the key factors in this is halal certification, halal storage, transportation, handling, traceability, packaging, and labeling. So the fifth is barriers and enablers in adopting halal transportation service, a study of Malaysian halal manufacturers. So in this literature, the author using theoretical toll framework that includes three factors, that is technological, organizational, and environmental. So I will pass to Yatesh for the following literature.
Thank you, Wang. I'm Yatish. So the sixth literature is contributing factors of halal warehouse adoption. So the first will be the halal warehouse is including of perceiving benefits of halal certification, availability of halal logistics services, government policy and regulatory support, awareness, and halal education among stakeholders. And it also ensure the integrity and authenticity of halal products throughout the supply chain, and the cost and profitability of implementing halal storage practices are more important factors influencing the adoption. So the next literature is contributing factors of halal warehouse adoption also. Then the concept of the halal warehouse adoption is the logistic industry and how it can increase for industries competitiveness. And then the next will be the management system is can improve the efficiency and effectiveness of halal warehouse operations also. So the eighth literature will be issues in implementing halal and Toyiban warehouse. So that the presence of halal professionals is very important, as they are responsible for ensuring that the products and processes complement with halal standards. And the recognition and understanding of this halal and Toyiban among stakeholders such as warehouse owners, employees, and customers are also very critical to successful the implementation. Besides, the other literature is factors influencing readiness towards halal logistics among food-based logistics players in Malaysia, which is the most critical factors influencing halal logistic readiness, where organizational readiness, government support, customer demand, and halal logistic awareness. And the variable measures the level of knowledge and understanding of halal logistic practices among stakeholders and including employees, suppliers, and customers also. And finally, the last literature is halal food supply chain knowledge and purchasing intentions, which is the variables are knowledge of halal variation, awareness of halal food, trust in halal food, and intention to purchase halal food. And other knowledge also the awareness of halal certification and building trust in halal food to facilitate the growth of the halal food supply chain. Now I'll pass the slides to Mugilan.
Okay, thank you, Yatesh. Okay, for the recommendation, we got three types. Okay, first is to improve surroundings area as setting up the halal warehouse needs. Second is hire knowledge workers to ensure that the halal procedures are correctly followed. The company should hire workers who are knowledge in Islamic procedures and conditioning for slaughtering animals. For the third one is provide training and regular updates to ensure that workers maintain their knowledge and skills. Next. So for the conclusion, I pass to Yatesh.
Thank you, Mugilan. So the conclusion is the halal certification is essential for someone, so for companies operating in the halal industry and foreign investors, and must register with CCM, acquire land, comply with government regulations, obtain permits, obey to Islamic laws and regulations. The Malaysia Halal Council has established the Halal Hub division to facilitate the development of warehousing in Malaysia, and the government can provide support and incentive to encourage the logistic companies to adopt halal warehousing practices such as tax breaks, grants, and subsidies. The government can facilitate the halal certification process by streamlining procedures and reducing costs, and help Malaysian logistic companies promote their halal certificate products and services to the international market also.